uniforms. They were the few who had not been shot out of hand or died of neglect from untreated wounds, exposure to the elements, or starvation before they could reach a camp. They performed hard labor. Some joined Andrei Vlasov's Liberation Army to fight for the Germans. Labor education detainees, Arbeitsverhaftung, wore a white letter A on their black triangle. This stood for Arbeitsschuhe, work-shy person, designating stereotypically lazy social undesirables like gypsies, petty criminals, for example prostitutes and pickpockets, alcoholics / drug addicts and vagrants. They were usually assigned to work at labor camps. Asocial, antisocials, inmates wore a plain black triangle. They were considered either too selfish or deviant to contribute to society or were considered too impaired to support themselves. They were therefore considered a burden. This category included pacifists and conscription resistors, petty or habitual criminals, the mentally ill and the mentally and / or physically disabled. They were usually executed. The Wehrmachtsstrafbattalion, Punishment Battalion, and SS Bewährungsstruppe, Probation Company, were military punishment units. They consisted of Wehrmacht and SS military criminals, SS personnel convicted by an honor court of bad conduct, and civilian criminals for which military service was either the assigned punishment or a voluntary replacement of imprisonment. They wore regular uniforms. But were a forbidden rank or unit insignia until they had proven themselves in combat. They wore an uninverted, point upwards, red triangle on the upper sleeves to indicate their status. Most were used for hard labor, special tasks, unwanted dangerous jobs like defusing landmines or running phone cables, or were used as forlorn hopes or cannon fodder. The infamous Dirlewanger Brigade was an example of a regular unit created from such personnel. A Strafkompanie, Punishment Company, was a hard labor unit in the camps. Inmates assigned to it wore a black roundel bordered white under their triangle patch. Prisoners suspected of attempting to escape, Fluchtverdachtige, wore a red roundel bordered white under their triangle patch. If also assigned to hard labor, they wore the red roundel under their black Strafkompanie roundel. A prisoner functionary, Funktionshafteling, or capo, boss, wore a cloth brassard, their Kennzeichen, or identifying mark, to indicate their status. They served as camp guards, Lagerpolizei, barracks clerks, Blockschreiber, and the senior prisoners, Ältesten, meaning elders, at the camp, Lagerälteste, barracks, Lokaltester, and room, Stubnaltester, levels of camp organization. They received privileges like bigger and sometimes better food rations, better quarters, or even a private room, luxuries, like tobacco or alcohol, and access to the camp's facilities, like the showers or the pool. Failure to please their captors meant demotion and loss of privileges and an almost certain death at the hands of their fellow inmates. Detainees wearing civilian clothing, more common later in the war, instead of the striped uniforms, were often marked with a prominent X on the back. 18. This made for an ersatz prisoner uniform. For permanence, such X's were made with white oil paint, with sewn-on cloth strips, or were cut with underlying jacket liner fabric providing the contrasting color. Detainees would be compelled to sew their number and, if applicable, a triangle emblem onto the fronts of such XZ clothing. 18. Some period examples of nationality letter marking at Nazi camps. F on red triangle, French political enemy, on Buchenwald clothing of Dr. Joseph Braucarret. F on red triangle, French political enemy, on Buchenwald clothing of Dr. Joseph Braucarret. F triangle on Buchenwald clothing of Dr. Joseph Braucarret. F triangle on Buchenwald clothing of Dr. Joseph Braucarret. Specimen meaning Polish political enemy. Specimen meaning Polish political enemy. Stafov detainee 29,659 Lydia Glochuska, which showcases the letter P on a red triangle for Polish political enemy. Stafov detainee 29,659 Lydia Glochuska, which showcases the letter P on a red triangle for Polish political enemy. Auschwitz detainee Ignacy Quarter wears a red P triangle, meaning a Polish political enemy. Auschwitz detainee Ignacy Quarter wears a red P triangle meaning a Polish political enemy. Dutch Jews wearing a yellow star and the letter N for Nederlander at Mortos N, 19. Dutch Jews wearing a yellow star and the letter N for Nederlander at Mortos N, 19. Sachsenhausen issued red F emblem for a French political enemy. Sachsenhausen issued red F emblem for a French political enemy. Emblems were also used on some detainee ID cards as shown here on the Mortos N card of Polish scientist Jerzy Kazmakiewicz, where a P triangle appears caret. Emblems were also used on some detainee ID cards as shown here on the Mortos N card of Polish scientist Jerzy Kazmakiewicz, where a P triangle appears caret. Dachau survivors toast their liberation as the man standing in center between the bottles wears a P triangle. Dachau survivors toast their liberation as the man standing in center between the bottles wears a P triangle. Liberated Bergen-Belsen survivor with a late war ersatz variant, left, showcasing no cloth patch, but a prominent N marked on the outer clothes. Liberated Bergen-Belsen survivor with a late war ersatz variant, left, showcasing no cloth patch, but a prominent N marked on the outer clothes. Table of camp inmate markings. Politisch political prisoner Berufsverbrecher professional criminal emigrant foreign forced labor by Belfast Bible student, Jehovah's Witnesses. Homosexual malhomosexual /sex offender /shoe social work shy /social Zigen Gypsy, Roma or Sintimal, basic colors markings for repeaters. Inmates of Strafe Company, punishment companies, markings for Jews political prisoner nationality markings the capital letter of the name of the country on a red triangle Belgia, Belgian, Czech, Czech, Franzose, French, Polish, Spaniard, Spanish, special markings Judas Terrasenskunder Jewish race defiler Senskender in female race defiler escape suspects Häftlings number inmate number Kensikin fur function Schaftlinge special inmates brown armband anema power or deserter example marks were worn in descending order as follows: inmate number, repeater bar, triangle or star, member of penal battalion, escape suspect. In this example, the inmate is a Jewish convict with multiple convictions, serving in a Strafe Company, penal unit, and who is suspected of trying to escape. Post-war use. Triangle motifs appear on many post-war memorials to the victims of the Nazis. Most triangles are plain while some others bear nationality letters. The otherwise potentially puzzling designs are a direct reference to the identification patches used in the camps. On such monuments typically an inverted, point down, base up, triangle, especially if red, evokes all victims, including also the non-Jewish victims like Poles and the Slavs, communists, homosexuals, Roma and Sinti, Sekrachmos, people with disability, see Action T4, Soviet POWs and Jehovah's Witnesses. An inverted triangle colored pink would symbolize gay male victims. A non-inverted, base down, point up, triangle and / or I allow triangle is generally more evocative of the Jewish victims. Some examples of camp triangle emblems on monuments and related uses. At Sachsenhausen. At Sachsenhausen. Adora Todes Marsch, Death March, roadside tablet marked only with the date and a red triangle. Adora Todes Marsch, Death March, roadside tablet marked only with the date and a red triangle. On the Kluge Jewish Victims Memorial. On the Kluge Jewish Victims Memorial. On a Buchenwald Todesmarsch, Death March, Route Historical Marker. On a Buchenwald Todesmarsch, Death March, Route Historical Marker. On a Sachsenhausen Death March Route Historical Marker. On a Sachsenhausen Death March Route Historical Marker. Monument, in the village of Grabau below, for Ravensbrück Death March victims. Monument, in the village of Grabau below, for Ravensbrück Death March victims. On a Wobbelin Memorial Stone. On a Wobbelin Memorial Stone. Older, in Lindenring, for 2,000 women victims of Ravensbrück. Older, in Lindenring, for 2,000 women victims of Ravensbrück. On a Cap Arcona Incident Memorial. On a Cap Arcona Incident Memorial. At the Neustadt Glue Concentration Camp Memorial. At the Neustadt Glue Concentration Camp Memorial. F triangle at Mauthausen-Guessen honors French victims. F triangle at Mauthausen-Guessen honors French victims. B triangle incorporated into the Belgian Political Prisoners Cross. B triangle incorporated into the Belgian Political Prisoners Cross. F triangle at Hinzert honors French victims, especially of the Nacht-und-Nebel program. F triangle at Hinzert honors French victims, especially of Nacht-und-Nebel program. On a monument to Neuengamme victims in Hamburg, where the letters KZ are not nationality letters, but rather are the German abbreviation for Konzentrationslager, concentration camp. On a monument to Neuengamme victims in Hamburg, where the letters KZ are not nationality letters, but rather are the German abbreviation for Konzentrationslager, concentration camp. On a memorial to victims killed at Genshagen, right panel, where the letters KZ are not nationality letters but rather are the German abbreviation for Konzentrationslager, concentration camp. On a memorial to victims killed at Genshagen, right panel, where the letters KZ are not nationality letters but rather are a German abbreviation for Konzentrationslager, concentration camp. P triangle at Azgorzelek Memorial. P triangle at Azgorzelek Memorial. P triangle on the Polish Medal for camp victims. P triangle on the Polish Medal for camp victims. Various badges on a Dachau Memorial Carrot. Various badges on a Dachau Memorial Carrot. Pink triangle, Rosa Winkel in German, memorial for gay men killed at Buchenwald. Pink triangle, Rosa Winkel in German, memorial for gay men killed at Buchenwald. In the Berlin Nollendorfplatz subway station, a pink triangle plaque honors gay male victims carrot. In the Berlin Nollendorfplatz subway station, a pink triangular plaque honors gay male victims carrot. Amsterdam's Homo Monument uses pink triangles symbolically to memorialize gay men killed in the Holocaust and also victims of anti-gay violence generally. Amsterdam's Homo Monument uses pink triangles symbolically to memorialize gay men killed in the Holocaust and also victims of anti-gay violence generally. Memorial to French victims of Dachau concentration camp at Père-Lachaise Cemetery in Paris. Memorial to French victims of Dachau concentration camp at Lachaise Cemetery in Paris. Every year, a pink triangle is erected on Twin Peaks in San Francisco during Pride weekend. Every year, a pink triangle is erected on Twin Peaks in San Francisco during Pride weekend. 2020 Trump campaign. In June 2020, the re-election campaign of Donald Trump posted an advertisement on Facebook stating that dangerous mobs of far-left groups are running through our streets and causing absolute mayhem and identifying them as Antifa, accompanied by a graphic of a downward-pointing red triangle. The ads appeared on the Facebook pages of Donald Trump, the Trump campaign, and Vice President Mike Pence. Many observers compared the graphic to the symbol used by the Nazis for identifying political prisoners such as communists, Social Democrats and Socialists. Many noted the number of ads 88, which is associated with neo-Nazis and white supremacists. 20, 21, 22, as an example of the public outcry against the use of the downward-pointing red triangle, as reported by Mother Jones. The Twitter account, @JewishAction. 23. The account of Ben the Ark, Jewish Action. 24. A progressive Jewish site stated,